Hi, Miss McDonald here. I am going to help you through an SAT, an ACT packet today. As all of you watching this will be taking the ACT in an upcoming test. I'm going to do this, no offense. I hope you don't take it. My time is very precious right now, and I have to do this with my night class and my day students. So I'll refer to night and my day students at the same time. You both will be taking, my day students will be taking the ACT test the last week of October. I don't have that calendar right in front of me, but it'll be the last week. I'll give you those dates when I know exactly. It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. My night classes, I have already sent those dates to you. I want to say it's like October 14th that week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You will be taking these extended time tests. These are the extended time ones. And that means 3 times the original amount of time. For each individual test, you will have 3 times the amount that is originally allotted. So for a 35-minute reading test, that means you will have 105 minutes. Let me do that real quick and see what that means. I've forgotten now. Divided by 4, that means you have about 26 minutes apiece. So instead of what I normally tell you is spend about 10 minutes and then guess smartly on the last one on the 5 minutes, you'll have about 26 minutes per passage. Okay. Important numbers there. Please write these things down, commit them to memory. You need to be at about the 26-minute mark when you're finished with a passage. The passages, there will be 4 passages every single time. 4 passages. I call them paragraphs. That's my symbol for paragraph. They will have 10 questions each. Every single time. 4 passages, 10 questions. All right. The way that we are going to work this for the day and the night students is exactly the same. That's why I'm going to combine these videos so that I can use them for both and don't have to basically record the same thing. So I'm going to say day student or night student about different things, but the way we work the passage is exactly the same. You do not have to sign up. If you're a day student, you will be signed up. Night students, you need to send me your message. Night students, I have it on the Google Classroom, the information that you need to send me, plus your, I think, well, I did. I know I sent it in the Remind group as well. You have to send me particular information so that I can add you to the list. I am doing that. Have already done some, if you've already sent it to me, but if you have not sent me a message saying you want to take the extended time ACT, that week of I believe it's a 10/14, don't hold it to me. I don't have the calendar in front of me. But if you have not already done that, do that ASAP. My deadline is next Tuesday to turn these names in. They'll let me do it maybe a day or 2 after, but not much after that. So just know that if you're a night student, you need to tell me so I can get you signed up. Now, when I say it's going to be that week, it's because on Monday, you will take the English. Wednesday, you will take the math if you need it. And Thursday, you will take the reading, the section we're going to work on today. Now, my day students, you will absolutely take the English. So you will be doing Monday and Thursday, no matter what. If you need the math, you're going to be doing it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right. My night students, it is completely up to you. You can take, if you only need the reading benchmark, you can take the English and the reading. This is how everybody's score is going to work. If you make an average of an 18 on the reading and the English sections, you will have passed. Anybody who does that will have passed. So let's say that reading is a challenge for you. We're going to work with you and help you raise those scores. But let's just say it's just not happening. You're just not getting there. And you score, say, a 16 on the reading. All right, best you can do is reading 16. Most of you, my night students, this only applies to you. Most of you need a 19. So let's say we're just not getting there. We're 3 points off, but you're really good at English. Then you can get an average. Now, my day students, you need this no matter what. You need, let's say you did this, but you're really good at English and you score a 20 on the English. Well, you add the two numbers together, divide by 2. That average would be an 18, and then you will have passed. So that's why I say my night students, it is up to you whether you want to take the English or not. And if you're trying to determine if you should, if I were you, I would, and let me get rid of this little thing here. Pardon me, I have not taken a shower and fixed my hair and stuff today yet. If I do that, I may not have time to record this. So don't look at me. Don't look at me. Those of you that watch Bridesmaids, you'll understand that. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm trying to do the best thing I can for you as well as take care of my mother. So just don't look at me. But know that my night students have the option if you want to take the English. It couldn't hurt. If you want to know if you're ready for it, then you should use your English, your ACT book, that red ACT book, and do an English section. You need to score probably a 28-ish, something like that, 26, 28. My day students, you took that practice test on the English section last week. That was why I had you do that. Some of you were in the 40s and more. So some of you may already be there. But anyway, try that. If you're in my night class, my day students, you know you're going to do it. I'm going to be helping with English as well, but I wanted to start with the reading. All right, when we have a packet for the ACT, every single time, the very first passage 1 is always going to be literary narrative. All right, hold on, I did not bring this. Yes, I did. Every second passage is always going to be social science. Every third passage is, that's the back one, sorry. Every third passage is always going to be humanities. See, it says third in humanities. Every fourth passage is always going to be natural science. Now, I'll tell you something about this fourth one. That's one we're going to work, not today, but another day very soon. The natural science, as long as it's not real sciencey, and it doesn't tend to get so sciencey that you can't get what you're, it overwhelms you. When I personally don't do as well on the science ones, as if it has things like biomes and organelles or microorganisms and it's listed all, it just kind of, I zone out. Okay, you can't do that. But sometimes I don't do as well on those. What I find though, as long as it's not overly sciencey, sometimes it's my best one because it's more straightforward. It's literal. It doesn't have a lot of connotations that you have to pick up. It doesn't have a lot of inferring and those kinds of things. Also, my English as a second language students tend to do the best with this natural science, the fourth one. So keep that in mind. You want to work to your strengths. You're going to keep a little chart like this. And in my night class, we have already done this. In my day class, I will show you, and you're going to write. It's going to be an assignment. You're going to write all 4 of the passages there, the names of it, like literary narrative, you'll write there, and humanities, social science, natural science. And then like today, after you work this one, you're going to write in there. Okay, let's say I got 6 out of 10 on that one. And then when you go work the other ones, you'll find out which ones you're the strongest in and which ones you're not the strongest in. You want to work to your strengths that day. Let's say that you got 6 out of 10 on this one and 8 out of 10 on this one. Say you got 4 out of 10 on that one and 5 out of 10 on that one. That's still going to be a passing score, by the way. To pass, you want to be somewhere in the range of getting 22 to 24 questions right. That will help you to pass. That will most likely come out to be at least a 19, could be a 20 scale score. And that's what we have to go by, is the scale score. So you just focus on, I need 22 to 24 right, which is about 5 or 6 on all of these. Okay. You're going to have plenty of time to work them because we're going to do them each in 26 minutes. Spending 26 minutes with a page of writing and answering 10 questions, we should be able to do that in plenty of time. Little hint here, never, ever, ever stop before time is called. Even if you finish, go back and recheck, okay? Spend all the time they give you. It may seem like an awful long amount of time, and it is, but I want to make sure that you're working to your best. Go back and rethink, reread. But as you're doing these, I want you to record them. Well, what I see is I'm the best at the science and the prose by I'll keep lots of records and I'll end up finding out, oh, okay, because one passage is going to work for you one time and the next time it's not. So you're going to see there's a trend. If I know this, then when I start my test, I'm going to go work this one first. I'm going to go work the natural science first when I just start and I'm all geared up and ready to go. All right. So just keep those things in mind. And this will be an assignment for my day students, but my night students should definitely do this. If you were in class with me, you already did that on the inside cover of that ACT book. If not, go ahead and make you a big one. Use the whole page. Make a chart like that so you can see the trend. Which ones do you do the best with? All right, so now let's talk about the day of the test. Obviously, you get a good night's sleep. Please don't close. If you're working, don't close and come home at 12:30 or 1 on the night before. Try to, tell them you have something early in the morning and you need to do well. You need to not be as late. You need to eat breakfast. You need to be there on time. For my day students, that means you need to be at school at 8:30. No later than 8:30. We're going to start bubbling in, having you start that process, and you do not want to come in and feel rushed or not be ready to go. The test will start about 8:45 for the day students. All right, the night students, it's the same thing. You're going to be there at 8:30. They might not actually start the test till 9, but there'll be a lot of people that they'll have to all check in. And the process may take 15 or 20 minutes. You're probably going to be told to sit in a seat. If you get there at 8:30, sit in a seat and go ahead and bubble in the front page, name, address, all those kinds of things. Same thing with my day students. Make sure you're there. We'll have already probably have a label that will be bubbled. So you don't, or not a label, it will not be bubbled, but you're not going to have to bubble a lot. So you're going to be ready to go. You need to be ready to get in, start the test, and do your best right away. Do not be late this day. Please do not be late this day, and do not miss this day. There are no makeups for both. There are no makeups. It's a one and done, and that's it. So make sure you have, you're there on time. You ate breakfast. Bring water. You may have water at your desk with you. Bring snacks. Bring them in a Ziploc bag, and do not bring Skittle and M&Ms. Bring things like the orange peanut butter crackers or a banana, a protein bar, something that's going to stick with you. You're going to get at least one break during this 105 minutes. Even if you don't feel like you're hungry, you need to eat then. Whether you're hungry or not, eat. Your brain is hungry. Your brain is drained. So please eat. If you want to bring a different type of drink as well, you can have that with you when you have your snack. So if you want another drink, bring that as well. Water can be at the desk, but other drinks cannot. All right, then. So now we're ready to get going. We've done all our stuff. We're there. We're on time. They're going to say, okay, on your mark, get set, go, or something similar, right? Do your best. Let's watch the time for yourself. What I usually will do, let's say we start at 9 o'clock, and let's say that I'm the best at prose. So I might write up here 9 o'clock, and then I know by 9:26 I need to be finished. Okay. If you're a minute or two early or a minute or two late, it's okay. But if you're 10 minutes, if you go to 9:36, not good. Pick an answer and move on. Okay. Please don't spend more than this 26 minutes per passage. You're gonna need to hold to that fairly accurately. Okay. If I don't want to spend the time to do the math, call it 30 minutes. And then subtract a couple, or hopefully you'll finish before. All right. Then number one thing, we are not going to sit and read those directions. Nope, not going to do it. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to feel prepared. First thing I always do, number one, is read the intro. Yeah, we know, miss. We know how to do that. Well, guess what? There are many of you that aren't doing it, and I can tell you're not doing it by the questions that I get and the things that I see. All right. So we know already a literary narrative. Miss, what does that mean? It's somebody's story. Somebody is telling a story. They might be telling their own story. They could be telling someone else's story. Make sure I don't run over on time. But this is a good thing for you to know. You've got to know what the background of the story is so that you're already set up for success. The passage is adapted from the novel The Cat's Table. Okay. Names, dates, and places you're going to underline. You have only two tools that day. Your pencil, I'm using a pen so you can see it easily, but you'll have a pencil that day. Bring number 2 pencils. They probably will have some, but if not, you need to have your own. It's just best. You feel best with your own stuff. Bring pencils, right? And your brain, right? So use the pencil. It's the only tool besides being able to write on the paper that you have. Write on this paper. I cannot stand. And if I were in class, this is how I would do it. I go behind the chair and I kick the bottom of your chair if I see you not writing on it, because I want you to do that. As you're doing practices, I come around and I just kick the bottom of people's chairs to wake them up and say, what are you doing? Because I can't tell you that, not during a test or during a practice, I shouldn't, but it's very, very important to do this. So underline names, dates, places. All right, it's by Michael. Ooh, I don't know how to say that name. And guess what? Today he's Michael O. All I need to know. I am not going to go on any further from that. Dates. I would even circle the dates. This says copyright 2011. Now I know you guys think, oh, miss, that's like 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. Guess what? That's not that long ago. It may feel like it to you, but it is really not. Life has not changed that much since 2011. This is fairly current. If we had something that was from the 1800s, 1876 or something like that, you would know life was very different. There were no cars. People didn't move around everywhere. There were no bathrooms inside. Families lived in the same house together. You might have 2 or 3 families living together, or little houses all close together on farms. Most people farmed. There were not refrigerators. There were not stoves. Life was very different. So in this respect, I would say this is a current story, right? I'm thinking because it's at least copyright then. And I notice it's by the same person. So I'm thinking probably it's going to be a first person story. I'm telling my story is what first person means, but I don't know that for sure. He could be telling the story from a different perspective. I'm not sure yet. The ship, the Ornsay, I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but I know it's a ship. The ship is departing from Colombia, not Columbia. I happen to be right now in Columbia, South Carolina. This is where I grew up, in Columbia, South Carolina, the capital city. Obviously, a different name. It's Columbia, right? We all know Columbia, Colombo. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, I'm paying attention to. You see how I'm making that connection there, okay? Ceylon, a city that is now today Sri Lanka. Okay, I have definitely heard of Sri Lanka. I don't know that I know for sure Colombo, right? That city. I'm not definitely sure. It doesn't say the country of like that some of you might know, but I've definitely heard of Sri Lanka. What I'm thinking is, okay, this is an international thing. This is not Tampa, Florida, and Columbia, South Carolina. No, we're talking about people or places far away. The next thing I noticed, it says in the early 50s. Let me think about the early 50s. In the early 50s, television had just gotten going. Most homes did not have a television. Very affluent families had them. I remember my aunt had one, and like the whole neighborhood would come over to watch different things because she had money and she had a TV. Okay, for a while that was a thing. Everybody would get around the TV on certain Saturday nights. They would have different shows or whatever. I remember hearing about that. Obviously, I'm not that old, but I remember hearing about, that my aunt was the only one in like her whole neighborhood that had a TV. I've heard people tell me that and tell me stories about that. All right. Also, families usually lived in the same place. You didn't move all over like we do, have job transfer, those kinds of things. Yes, definitely we had cars, but if you did, you have one car. Oh, that's the other thing. And a TV. If you had a TV, it was only one TV in the house. There was not a TV in every room like we have now. Most families could only afford one TV. Hang on, this is the hospice people. I've got to take it. I will make this into videos. Hello? I'm good. How are you? Home from. Right. Road. Yes, absolutely. Home from. Road. I'm sorry, I missed that part. What now? Oops, okay, hang on a second. Let me share back the screen. Okay, I hope that that paused. It may not have. If it didn't, please just scooch forward. Hopefully you already did that. That was hospice and I needed to do that. They've ordered more pain meds and I needed to know the specifics of them. Okay, so we now know this story is set in the 50s and it's Sri Lanka, right? A place I'm not sure I know where it is in my mind, but I know it's not down the road. It's not near us. Then we're going to go. Number two thing we're going to do is read the first paragraph-ish. Now, I know paragraph-ish is not a word. It's my word to explain. I want to know the lay of the land. If this paragraph were very long and it went all the way here to all the way over to here or something, I'm not going to read all that. I am not going to sit and read this whole thing. I'm smarter than that. You are too. I'm going to help you to work smarter, not harder. You're going to read until you just kind of, hey, I got an idea about what's going on so that when I go read the questions, I'm going to have an idea about what's going on. This paragraph being about this long, I'm okay with that. If it were shorter and you had 2 or 3, I might read 2 or 3, but this one, I'm going to say this is a good one. If it was, I would just mark the first one and then I'd go read. Do I need to know more? Once I get lay of the land, and you'll understand that in a minute, then I'm going to stop reading and I'm going to go to my questions. So let's just read together. Michael was 11 years old that night when green as he could be about the world, he climbed aboard his first and only ship of his life. Okay, we're talking about Michael, and he's 11, and he's climbed aboard the first ship, and you'll have to work with me because I am reading this off of the screen, so my line may not always be right in the right place. His first and only ship of his life. It's the first time he's ever gotten on a ship. All right. It felt as if the city had been added to the coast. All right. Yeah. Better lit than any town or village. Oh, it's bright. Okay. I'm in my mind. You're doing this teacher talk too. I hope you'll learn to. He went up the gangplank. Now we've heard that from old pirate movies and stuff, right? It's just the thing you walk up to get on a boat, watching the only path of his feet. Nothing ahead of him existed and continued until he faced the dark harbor. There were outlines of other ships farther out, beginning to turn on lights. He stood there alone, smelling everything. Okay, here this boy is alone. Why is this 11-year-old boy getting on the first ship of his life alone? That anything that's like strange, outstanding, something that doesn't seem normal, this is going to help me understand the story. This kid's 11 years old. He's never been on a boat, and it's a ship as big as a city. He's getting on it alone. He stood alone, smelling everything, and then came back through the noise and the crowd to the side that faced the land, yellow over the city. Already it felt like there was a wall between him and what took place. Stewards began handing out food and cordials. Okay, I do not know what cordials are, and I'm being honest. I think I know, but what do you hand out with food? Food and drinks. I don't know that that's what it is, but I'm going to guess that's what it is, okay? They're handing out food and drinks. The stewards are, okay? I don't, you may not know that word if you've been on a ship, been on a cruise. You probably do. They're just the people that help, right? All right. He ate sandwiches, and after that, he made his way down to his cabin, undressed, and slipped into the narrow bunk. He'd never slept under a blanket before. What? He never slept under a blanket before, save once in this place. One time he used a blanket, and it was in this place. And here's another name I don't really know, right? I don't know if I'll be asked about that town or not, but I'm just going to underline it. It's a name. Names, dates, places. We want to underline. He was wide awake. The cabin was below the level of the wave. His cabin was below the level of the waves. So there was no portal. Okay, he didn't have a window. Portal is a window. He found a switch beside the bed, and when he pressed it, his head and pillow were suddenly lit by the cone of light. Okay, he's got a night light. All right, here's this kid. He's 11 years old. He's all alone. He's on a boat. He's never slept with a blanket before. I'm probably thinking that this kid, he hasn't been exposed to much in life. Is he homeless? Did his family pass away? We don't know all these things, but what I do know that's odd is that an 11-year-old, even in the 1950s, an 11-year-old getting on a boat by himself and going to some city, right? Going to another city, Sri Lanka, which I know is a long way away from me. So it's probably a long way for him, all alone. All right. After you do that, the third thing I want you to do, and please write this over to the side, is you're going to go to the questions. You're going to answer the ones that are in line. Answer the inline ones. Answer the inlines. All right, those are the ones that says in line 42 or whatever like that. Right, let me move this away. So we're going to go to question number 1. I am not going to do all these for you. I'm just going to help you set up. Most of the time when we miss questions, about 73% of the time, multiple choice questions get missed because we do not clearly understand what the question is asking, or we did not answer what the question is. So my next thing to do is I go to question number 1. The passage can most reasonably be described as being divided into 2 sections that, taken together, explore what? All right, I say read the question once, because that was kind of gobbledygook to me. Okay, the passage is in 2 sections. I'm not even familiar with that yet. The passage can reasonably be described. Okay, obviously it's the passage. The passage is described as being divided in 2 sections. Okay, the passage is divided. We don't even see that yet, but we're going to take their word for it. Taken together, explore. Okay, these 2 sections explore Michael's first week, or elements of Michael's journey, or 2 outcomes, or Michael's relationship. Now, I didn't read it all, did I? I just went and kind of picked out, what are they really asking me? I don't want to put so much information in my brain that I get overloaded. I want to be able to answer the questions correctly. Therefore, less is best at this point. If this is a summation of what the question is, only focus on that. We know they're about Michael, and it's about either relationships or a relationship, 2 outcomes, elements of his journey, or his first week. That will pop out to us when we only focus on the main things until we're ready to read the rest. I'll be able to eliminate wrong ones. And that's something else I want you to get used to doing. We are flipping that switch. We do not go into this saying, oh, I want to find the right answer. No, no, no. That's the worst way to do this. You want to go into this saying, what is wrong? If I know it's wrong, get rid of it. Many times you can get rid of at least 2 of them, hopefully 3, and then you know the last one has to be the answer. You're going to read it and make sure it is. But please, you're eliminating wrong, not looking for a right. You'll confirm the right one. I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. All right, so the first one, you know what? I can't do it. I don't. Hang on a second. There we go. Because I haven't read enough. I don't know that it's broken into 2. That's too much. But now I know when it says, oh, in the second half or something, I'll know something later and it'll hit me. Oh, that's that first question. I'll go back to it. So we just move on to the next one. The description of the Ornsay. Now, you might not remember, was that his last name or the ship? If you want to go back, there's a reason why we circle things. The Ornsay. Yeah, the Ornsay is a ship. Yeah, I might even go write that there. The ship as having 7 levels, 9 cooks, a veterinarian, a small jail, and a chlorinated pool. In these lines, do I need to go read those? Probably not. They just told us what they said, but we might need to read around it. So hang tight with that. I might say in these lines, most strongly supports which of the following statements about the Ornsay, that's the boat, or its passengers. Okay, right off the bat, I've read all this and they're asking me something, but I may not be real clear on what they're asking me. So let's go look. The description of the Ornsay, the ship. Okay, so the ship describes, it's a description, and all these things describe it. We don't need to worry about these details. These are details that we're aware of, but we'd want to know. Okay. The description of the ship most strongly supports. So the description of the ship most strongly supports which of the following statements? The description of the ship supports the statements about the Ornsay and its passengers. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that it is very important to pay attention to words and every letter in the word. This says passengers. That means more than one. Many times, and I think you're going to find in a minute, and I already worked this one on my own, but I paid attention to that, so that's why I want to make note of it for you. When it says passengers, there's got to be at least two. If we only hear about one passenger, it is not a correct answer, right? Okay, so it's saying these things, these statements say what about the Ornsay, the boat, and the passengers? Well, look at this. They've even given us these. So I'm not going to go read that yet. I want to see if I can eliminate some. All right. When they tell us this about the boat, what does it say about the ship and the passengers? It felt as if a city had been added to the coast. Did I hear that? Yes, I did. Okay, why would he say that? I felt like it felt as if a city had been added to the coast. When he got on this ship, he thought, oh my gosh, this is like a whole city. Does that say something about the Ornsay? Yes. Does it say something about the passengers? Not directly, but it does tell you the passengers might feel this way. If he felt this way, passengers might feel this way. I'm not saying I love it, but what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong in it. So I'm moving forward. I'll show you the difference in some wrong ones. The captain was below the level. The cabin was below the level of the waves. So there was no porthole. That means a window. Does that have anything to do with the Ornsay? Yes, in particular, it does. Okay, there's some cabins that are below and you don't have windows. Does it have anything to do about passengers? They're talking about the cabin, so it's only one person. We're only talking about our guy. So I don't like this one. I like this one better than I like this one. So if I know that doesn't tell me enough about the ship or the passengers, right? That's the one I want to make sure we pay attention to. All right, let's look at H. I do not know, even now, why he chose this solitude. Are we talking about passengers or one passenger? One passenger. That's not a possibility. Goes away. But now it had been arranged that I would be traveling to England by ship. Do we hear about any other passengers or do we know about the ship? No, we don't. So guess what? I have this one left. Let's go back and read it. If you're describing this ship, how would that statement relate to the ship and the passengers? It felt as if a city had been added to the coast. Yeah, everybody probably felt that in the 1950s, especially. So guess what? The others I know are wrong. This one is right. I want to circle it big, and I'm going to put my big old check. When I put my big old check here, that means, I got it. I celebrate. When I get my page full of these checks, remember, I really only need like 5 or 6 per passage to be able to pass. More is always better. I'd like you to shoot for 8, 9, right? But a bare minimum is 5 or 6. So I know this is good, and I'm going to celebrate it. Do I have every one of them right when I do that? No, but I feel like it. If I feel like it, then I'm probably going to do better. So put your big old check. I am not going to go over to my sheet and go bubble in, right? Nope, I got that one right. Let me bubble that in. No, waste of time, and it causes a distraction with your brain. Wait till you answer all 10, and then go answer the 10. So I got one. Yay! I'm going to go on to the next one. It says, as is used in lines 65 to 66, the phrase introduce me to the situation of the journey most nearly means, okay, let's read it. As it is used in these lines, the phrase, well, they already gave us the phrase, introduce me to the situation of the journey. Most nearly means, oh, okay, let's look. Is it a list? Is it an explanation? And pardon me if I'm marking wrong. I'm having to look through this Elmo, okay? Are they drawing something? Are they preparing something? I don't know because I need to read more. Sorry, my phone is going off like crazy. This is how my life is now. All right. So let's go see. It says line 65. I don't know enough. Is it a list? Does it explain or does it draw or prepare? I don't know. The phrase this most likely means, let's just go read it. Line 65. All right, I'll look over. If you haven't noticed yet, the lines, it's like every 5 lines, they tell you what number it is. So I see 65 is right there. So 65 and 66. There had been just one attempt to introduce me to the situation of the journey. Well, that's what they just told us. So we didn't learn anything new yet. All right. So it's only one paragraph. Why don't we go ahead and read it? Everywhere you read today, you notice I did that here and I did that here. Everywhere you read today, please make sure you mark it, because then if you come across a question and you haven't heard those words or names or times or anything, then you'll go back to the ones you haven't read to find the answers. All right. There had been just one attempt to introduce me to the situation of the journey. A lady named Flava Prinz, remember names, dates, places. There's Flava Prinz, whose husband knew my uncle. It's not his aunt. But here's a lady who has a husband who knows my uncle. He does have a family. Turned out to be making the same journey and was invited to a tea one afternoon to meet with me. Okay, she's invited to tea to meet with me. She would be traveling in first class. Is he traveling in first class when he doesn't even have a window? No, that's different, important. I want to remember that. But promised to keep an eye on me. Okay, she promised to keep an eye on him. I shook her hand carefully as if it was covered with rings and bangles. So she's rich. Our little boy probably isn't, right? Make notes, understand what's going on. And then she turned away to continue the conversation I had interrupted. So he walked up and said, "Oh, hey, I'm Michael." And she said, "Oh, hi." And then she turned and went back to her own conversation. She's not real impressed with this. It doesn't affect her. If it was me, you guys have learned enough about me. I'm going to give you a big hug. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you. That's not what happened here. She answered and then turned on back to what she was doing, talking to her friends. I spent most of the hour listening to a few uncles, and counting how many of the trimmed sandwiches they ate. Okay, so maybe, I don't know if it's really uncles or if it's just men that he's calling uncles, because he says a few uncles. Well, if they were his uncles, why didn't his uncles take care of him? Or this was the 1950s. Then, hey, I'm recording a class. Can I call you right back? Thank you. Sorry, it's my mother's sister. We have, we're not sure. Women did take care of children in the 50s. It wasn't like today when men will take care of kids too. So it could be that he did have other uncles, or it could be that he's just calling them uncles. This lady's friends. We all know how that works. I'm not sure if I'm reading too much into there, but a few of his uncles. Okay, he's invited to this tea, and she is too. And she says, "Oh, hi," and goes back to eating and talking. And he sits there and counts how many sandwiches they ate. And that gives me a thing. Is this woman going to be a support for him? Maybe. Is she going to be a loving, "Oh my gosh, here, let me help you through it all"? No, we definitely are getting that. All right, so now maybe we understand. Was the third one, wasn't it? Yes. All right, so did we hear a list? I did not hear a list. I don't even need to read the rest. I might, because I have plenty of time. A list for the narrator, people he will likely meet on his trip. No, this is not a list of people in this paragraph. What we learned is, hey, he's got this lady that's a friend of his uncle, and she's like, "Okay, I'll watch out for you, but don't bother me because I'm talking to my friends and eating sandwiches," right? All right, I didn't hear that. Explain to the narrator what his mother knows about his trip. Did we hear anything about his mother? Never mentioned. If it says in line 65 to 66, stick around there, right? We do not know anything about his mother. We only heard mention of an uncle and this lady and uncles. All right. Draw for the narrator a map of exact route of his trip. Did we hear anything about the route of his trip? No. So look what we've done. We already think it's D. Now I'm going to confirm it's D. I get nervous when I've already done 3 and I think, I've only got the 1 left, but sometimes I'm right. So if it doesn't happen, then we can go through and go rethink the others. Oh, here's another important thing. Please literally strike through the wrong ones. Your brain at this point, when you have a question, your brain's looking at 4 and it's going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. All right. Stress, whether you realize it or not, it is. We want to manage that stress. I want you to be in control of this test, not this test in control of you. The way you do that is my little tips here. All right, we got 4. Okay, then we eliminated 1. We eliminated another. Oh, what's my brain saying now? I've only got 2 to choose here. I eliminated that one. I got 1 left. Yay! It's positive thinking, right? So let's read it. Does it prepare the narrator in general? So it doesn't have to be specific, right? For the circumstances of his trip. He's on his own. Did we not just talk about that? That's why I want you to spend time, see if you can sort of get a picture of what's going on. Absolutely, he knows. There's this woman on the trip that he is a friend of his uncle, but is she really going to be help to him? Probably not. You're on your own, big boy. I'll speak to you. I'll look out for you, but don't bother me. I'm talking to my friends and eating my sandwiches. Boom. And that is the correct answer. All right. So then we would just continue to move on. I want you to do the same thing. If you can answer it, answer it. If you can't, move on. Go all the way through. I think the rest of them are pretty straightforward. It's just going to take practice. Very, very confident that we can all do this if you practice and do this. What I'd like you to do is finish this, go all the way through, do the ones you can. Let me back it up a bit so you can see it a little differently. All right. Do the ones you can, then go backwards. If you can't find an answer to one, it's somewhere in this passage that you haven't read. For the most part, it doesn't always work this way, but for the most part, if I answered number 1 here, number 2 is going to be here. And then number 3 might be over here. And number 5 is going to be here. And then 6 and 7 are here. They usually fall in order. Not always, about 80% of the time. But if you're looking for one, if you got the answer to number 5 right here, and you're looking for the number 3 or 4, it's probably going to be in these other 2 that you have, or the 2 or 3 you haven't read. So do that. I want you to answer these. And now I've messed this page up. But if this were plain and clear over here, what I'd like you to turn into me, both my day students and my night students can text it to me. And my day students, I want you to do this. This is going to be an assignment for sure for you. You're going to write over to the side. You're going to take a picture of this page, at least the top part, so I know which one you did. And you're going to tell me how many you got right. Let's say you got 6 out of 10 and circle it. And that way I know you have done this. Okay. And you got 6 out of 10. If I see everybody gets 3 or 4, I know what to do. If I see everybody gets 7 or 8, I know what to do. This will help me know where you are. Then I want you to record it in your chart that you're going to make. And I want you to put it under the reading. I also want you to put the date beside it. You'll see you'll get better as we go. So put today's date and that number, and then you should be good to go. If you have any questions, please call me, text me, mostly on Remind. That is the easiest thing for me right now. I am quite overwhelmed with everything going on, but I definitely want to help you. I am here for you. My mother has gotten much worse very quickly here. I don't expect this to last more than another 3 or 4 weeks, honestly, as hard as that is for me to say, but I will be back with you at some point. And so, please help me to help you. If I'm spending my time like this, please do this with fidelity. Hopefully you know that word, which means give your best. Yes, you can cheat. You can go look at the answers and tell me you got 10 out of 10. You think you're bad. Guess what? You're not. You will not be able to do it on the test. Please do through the process, work these things the way I'm telling you, and learn how to do these the best you can. I want you to find success. Take care. See you till next time. Hopefully I get a chance to take a shower before. Take care.